You just saw your watch list tick green and you rushed in to buy. A few minutes later, the market turned sharply red, your heart pounded, and you bailed out to grab a momentary sense of safety. Regret, frustration, confusion. The root cause is not in the chart. It sits in the habit of jumping in and out to smother fear, unintentionally cutting off the advantage of time and compounding. You confuse doing something to ease the nerves with doing the right thing, so results thicken over the years. Every time you change your mind because of emotion, you withdraw a piece of the reward that time is building for you. When you exit a position right as the market is about to deliver, some of the best days your equity curve bends lower and your conviction thins. Fees on top of fees, great days missed. Discipline frayed. Here is the truth: you are the one pressing the button. And only you can stay put, and let time do its part. Do you want instant relief or lasting results? Are you following the plan you wrote or your heartbeat? Will you let long-term data do the talking instead of the noise of the day? Are you ready to take responsibility when your own hands cut the compounding chain? Do not chase every candle. Follow the goals you have written. Do not hunt for comfort. Hold to the principles that are hard but correct. Stay put, let time work, and let compounding reward you. The issue is not a lack of opportunity. It is a lack of staying present long enough in the right place. When you stop chasing every tick, time finally has a chance to take your side and turn ordinary days into steadily growing capital. From here, look straight at the cost of jumping in and out to see how one small habit can steal the very time edge that should be yours. Chapter 1, the cost of jumping in and out, fractured compounding. You choose to do something just to feel less worried, but every hurried order erodes the reward that time is building for you. You think you are acting to control risk, but in truth, you are cutting away the power of compounding that is quietly growing day by day. Constant switching costs money. You lose the rhythm. You lose confidence. Each time you flip your position out of impatience, you pay two kinds of price: the price on the screen and the price inside yourself, where confidence and determination get chipped away piece by piece. When the compounding chain breaks, the long road is bent out of shape, and you stand there watching opportunity race by like a train that waits for no one. Chain broken. Off course, beating yourself. If you keep jumping in and out to soothe immediate fear, you will turn long-term rewards into hidden fees that are hard to see with the naked eye. If you keep changing your mind to the beat of your heartbeat, you will collect every kind of friction and slippage, and you will carry the bill yourself. Transaction costs rise. The bid and ask spread widens. Opportunities are missed. You need to call these costs by their real names, because only when you see them clearly will you understand why one small habit can bend an entire result. You need to see that this is not the market's fault. It is the price of rash behavior, where decisions are bought with temporary peace of mind. Each day, understand that constant flip-flopping is a hidden fee. You must treat emotional costs as real costs. You win by keeping the chain unbroken. Can you calculate the opportunity cost of one early exit when the best days arrive and you are standing on the sidelines? Do you see yourself changing decisions just to reduce anxiety rather than because of long-term data? Do you realize that a broken chain erases an edge like pulling the battery from a running watch? Do you dare to call that behavior a tax you are imposing on yourself? Ask to examine yourself. Ask to take responsibility. Ask to stop. Look straight at what truly happens in a typical week when you buy 3 times, sell twice, and then miss the long-up move that follows. You do not only pay fees on every order, you also pay with discouragement, with fatigue, and with confidence worn down because your own hands cut the chain. Chasing entries, cutting losses, missing the long-run move. Do not try to fix mistakes with hasty action. Block the mistake with discipline in advance so you do not pay twice. Do not cut a loss because you are afraid to see the numbers. Cut the fear with clear principles so you do not replay the same script. Do not blame volatility. Call out both the frictions and the habits that are punching holes in the bottom of your bucket. This is the turning point where you stand with the truth and stop eroding your own results. Transaction costs, bid and ask spread, opportunities lost, confidence down, resolve thin, results worse. These costs do not arrive alone. They link together, so the more you rush, the more you spend. The more confused you feel, the more you do to feel better, and the more you lose. That is the mechanism of fractured compounding. One loose link drags down the entire chain, turning long-term rewards into tiny short-term comforts that feel good, but do nothing. Rush once. Pay many times. The erosion lasts a long time. There will be times you are tired. There will be times you are bored. There will be times no one applauds. But in those moments, a clear view of the real costs will keep you with what is right rather than chasing comfort and regretting it later. Understand so you do not step on your own line. Understand so you do not turn every small jolt into a reason to change course. Understand so you do not mistake fear for facts. You win by protecting the compounding chain like a prized asset and not letting friction slip into your decisions. You win by separating an emotionally heavy moment from your long-term identity and not letting one bad day define the entire journey. You win by seeing the cost of jumping in and out as a silent thief and refusing to let it take another dollar. Think this way and the math becomes simple and direct. Keep the chain, keep the conviction, keep the long-term path. Are you willing to write down every kind of cost you paid in one recent rush so you can see the real number? Do you dare admit that most losses came from your own actions, not from market quirks? Do you want to keep buying a few minutes of calm at the price of years of results? The answer is yours. The decision is yours, the outcome even more so. When you name the cost of jumping in and out correctly, you will see it is not a small mistake you can ignore. It is a large hole in the hull of your compounding ship. You will see that a long string of additions has been snapped into a series of subtractions, and each minus sign wears the face of the impatience you built yourself. Name it clearly. Look it fully in the face. Do not look away. You do not need more tricks. You need honesty with yourself about where your money and your confidence are leaking. You do not need a heroic performance. You need to stop fueling the habit that breaks the chain every time emotions surge. Be frank with yourself. Be frank with the data. Be frank with the results. From here on, treat every urge to jump in and out as a reminder of the hidden tax you're about to levy on your own pocket. Treat restlessness as a signal to examine costs, not in order to do something just to feel better. Ask yourself one more time. Pause one more beat. Take responsibility. In the end, when the full cost is out in the open, your motivation to stay put grows stronger because you understand that keeping the chain is not passive endurance. It is protecting your most valuable asset. Keeping the chain is no longer a vague sacrifice. It is a deliberate choice not to trade the future for immediate comfort. See the cost clearly. Confirm the mechanism, hold the chain. And once you understand the price you pay for the habit of jumping in and out, you will be ready to examine another crucial piece of the picture: why standing aside for just a few of the best days can bend your entire long-term result. That is the next step on your path, where being present at the right time matters more than trying to predict every short intraday wiggle. Pause here. Keep the lesson. Step into the best days missed. Chapter 2, The Best Days Missed Extended Supplement. You often think returns arrive evenly, day by day, but in reality, most of them bunch up into very few moments. When you are absent at the right time, the curve bends down, and the story of the entire year changes direction because of a handful of short days. No presence, no reward, no confidence. Each time you stand aside and then chase, you trade a sliver of peace of mind for a cut across your compounding chain. The damage is not only price slippage, it is also a crack in how you see yourself when you make decisions inside the noise. Out of rhythm, out of alignment, out of outcomes. Those rare days when the market surges are exactly where the rewards are distributed, and being present is the prerequisite to receive your share. You do not need a complicated explanation. You only need to face the truth that being absent at the right time means removing yourself from the table. Be there to receive. Absence means loss. Chasing means slipping. How many times have you looked back at the chart and seen the steep climb packed into the very days you were not there? Do you realize that every effort afterward only patches feelings and never fills the hole left by the reward that is gone? Do you still want to buy a minute of calm at the price of an entire stretch of progress? Each day, remember that a few sessions decide the journey, and the rest test your steadiness and your capacity to sit in silence. You must accept the market's unpredictability because calling the single best day is beyond anyone's ability. You win by staying in position long enough so you do not have to tell a regret story when the big wave rolls right past you. When these 3 lines become habit, your heart is less hurried and your eyes look beyond a few sessions. Standing aside feels safe, but surface safety is often the enemy of real reward over time. False safety lets fear sit in the decision chair and your own hands sign off on erasing those precious steep stretches. Short calm, long regret, thin results. Do not chase tops and bottoms. Hold a reasonable baseline so you do not turn yourself into the runner who trails the story. Do not stand aside out of fear. Stand inside out of principle so you do not push yourself out of the very moment that pays. Do not follow the noise. Follow long-term data so one intraday jolt does not twist your curve. The less you chase, the more you are present where the reward appears. Gain missed, confidence lost, rhythm broken. These 3 losses line up when you are absent at the right time, and each loss pulls you toward a hurried choice the next time. Slope missing, momentum missing, durability missing. Do you know why after one chase you usually cannot hold for long and then let go early again? Because your motive is to erase regret, not to follow a clear principle that keeps you steady through short-term shakes. That is why you tire. That is why you worry. That is why you leave. The stories you tell to justify standing aside often sound reasonable, but they do not return the reward that passed. They only slow you down, tangle you up, and make it easier to accept another absence when the noise rises again. Slip this time, slip next time. The chain continues. Each day, treat being present as the default, not the exception, only when things are calm. You must treat surprise as part of the path, not a reason to stand aside, unless there is evidence that truly forces an exit. You win by letting time reveal the reward without a preview because rewards never send invitations. Keep this cadence and you will fear less when the screen changes colors. What do you want to control, every tiny wiggle that no one can control, or the holding time that is fully your choice? What story do you want to tell, the calm story of results or the cliffhanger of someone who always arrives late and leaves early? What do you want to see, a curve that climbs steadily or one broken by the very orders you pressed in fear? Do not change the plan because of a feeling. Keep the direction because of principles so the path is not yanked off course by one noisy day. Do not change because of a rumor. Change when long-term evidence speaks loudly enough that you must review the structure. Do not talk just to feel better. Look clearly so you do not rationalize. That is how you reduce the chance of removing yourself from the payout. Stay long enough, catch the full wave, build thick results. These 3 lines are not slogans. They are the natural conclusion when you keep your presence where the rewards are concentrated. Presence first, reward after. A cleaner story. There will be days when fatigue makes you want to hit exit just to claim a minute of calm. There will be days when boredom hands you a good-sounding reason to stand aside a little longer to ease the fear. Heart tired, willpower dry, no applause. But silence is not a signal to leave. Silence is the groundwork where the reward is prepared. You win by choosing to be present even when there is nothing notable to report, because rewards usually arrive without announcement. You win by respecting the ordinary stretches because those very stretches lead you to the place where rewards concentrate. You win by letting results sign their name, while emotions sit in the back row and watch. That way your curve becomes less jagged and grows thicker over time. Have you ever asked why in the same market one person tells of a long climb while you only have broken segments? The difference often lives in one small choice: stay put to be present or stand aside to feel a little less anxious for a moment. Which do you choose? What price do you pay? Which outcome do you want? If you still think you only missed one day, remember that a single good day can carry most of the gain for an entire stretch. You cannot see it with the naked eye, but the end result will tell you how many points you just subtracted from yourself. Look at the whole. Look long. Look honestly. Do not blame luck. Take responsibility for being absent at the right time, because that was a decision you signed. Do not blame bad headlines. Ask why you left the position when there was no reason strong enough to leave. Do not flail. Stay clear. Do not complain. Acknowledge. Do not delay. Accept. Each day, repeat the truth that large rewards often arrive in quiet, and your one job is to be there when they do. You must drop the tidy but hollow excuses that only pull you away from where you need to stand. You win by holding the position as part of your identity, not as a desperate effort on a bad day. When identity is firm, behavior follows. Are you willing to stop chasing a quick good feeling in exchange for a thicker result within reach? Do you have the courage to accept that you cannot predict the best day, but you can choose to stay put so you do not miss it? Do you want to become the calm narrator instead of the narrator of endless regret? Do not run to soothe impatience. Stand on principle so you do not warp your curve. Do not invent reasons for an exit click. Place accountability on the choice to be present. Do not trade the future for the present. Trade an inconvenient present to buy a future that is worth it. That is the fairest exchange you can make for yourself. Big gain missed, confidence missed, rhythm missed. These three cuts can turn a good year into an average year and then into a long lesson. Stay long enough. Catch the full wave. Build thick results. These three bricks are enough to build a steady story where you look back and know you were there. Choose a side. Choose now. Choose and keep it. And when you see the consequence clearly, the remaining choice no longer lives in the market. It lives in you each time temptation whispers to step away. Will you be present when the reward arrives, or will you stand aside to craft one more reason for the next late arrival? Two paths, two stories, two outcomes. 2. From the consequences, the axis of responsibility becomes unmistakable presence is a conscious decision. Absence is your choice, not fate. Once you claim your part in this story, you will see that staying put is not surrender. It is how you honor the long path. Fewer excuses, more signatures, more results. Chapter 3. The axis of responsibility. Choosing to stay is a conscious choice. When the market screen changes colors and your heart wants to click now, the real responsibility does not live in volatility. It lives in you. Staying put is not surrender. Staying put is a deliberate decision to protect the goal rather than feed short-term fear. Do not rush. Do not run. Do not blame. Not. Staying put is an active choice because you choose rules before emotions and outcomes before momentary comfort. When you claim the right to make the final call, you also accept the duty to keep your word to the plan you wrote for yourself. Keep the signature. Keep the position. Keep the direction. If you do not pivot back to responsibility, emotions will slide into the driver's seat and pull you away from what is right quietly. If you do not confirm your role as the decision maker, every wiggle will become a reasonable excuse to break your compounding chain. Rhythm lost, momentum lost, yourself lost. Each day, remember that you are the one who decides, and do not delegate your voice to a passing fear. You must prioritize rules over emotions, so you judge what to do by criteria, not by panic. You win by acting according to the written plan instead of rewriting the plan according to how you feel when the screen changes colors. When these three lines become reflex, your anxiety eases and your results become less random. Do you see doing nothing as a responsible action toward the goal you already signed? Are you letting emotions steer your choices and then dressing them up with nice-sounding lines? Do you dare choose the hard path first to receive the ease later, instead of choosing ease first and paying a long price after? You look at the screen and choose not to act because the plan is clear. That is a moment of maturity for someone who owns the decision. You stand upright with your own words and let those words hold your hand back from quick clicks that go against what you agreed to do. Staying still has meaning. Staying still has value. Staying still has discipline. Do not leave it to fate. Restrain yourself on purpose so your behavior separates from the loud wave of emotion inside. Do not wait to feel calm before you act. Act correctly so calm follows because your behavior stands with the truth and the goal. Do not hope the market will quiet down. Quiet yourself by leaning on a clear set of rules when you need them. Transformation begins with the sentence, "I am responsible," spoken in a steady voice and carried through in every small decision. Look at the goal. Remember the principles. Hold the position. Slow down, choose well, move on. These two sets of three lines are a simple and powerful fence that keeps you on a path that is both hard and worthy. When the fence is built with clear words and a continuous will, you do not need applause to stand firm through the shakes. There will be days you are tired. There will be times you are bored. There will be moments when no one applauds. But precisely then, the sentence, "I am the decision maker," shows its weight because it saves you from a reckless swerve made only to feel less discomfort. Stretch for one beat, clarify one more time, hold your ground. You win by signing your rules again whenever emotions beg for an exception. You win by letting principles extinguish the excuses before excuses become actions. You win by seeing restraint as a positive action that protects results, not as a lack of courage. Live this way and staying put becomes part of your identity, not a shaky effort. Are you waiting for the market to change so your job feels easier? Or are you changing so your behavior is less fragile? Are you waiting for emotions to calm before you do the right thing? Or are you doing the right thing so emotions calm afterward? Do you accept that every broken plan carries your signature, not the signature of volatility? The control lies with you, so the deciding voice lies with you. That is both daunting and liberating. When principles lead emotions, make less noise. When emotions quiet down, your decisions warp less and your result curve breaks less. Less self-justifying, less self-sabotage, less self-exhaustion. You do not need more slogans. You need personal responsibility to show up on time and stand there long enough to become a habit. You do not need long apologies. You need your signature to stand tall in the face of small waves, because small waves do not get to dictate the fate of a big goal. Say less, do right, keep steady. Each day, remind yourself that emotions are advisors, not signers of decisions. You must reread the words you committed to when your mind wants to bargain for comfort. You win by letting action lead emotion and then letting emotion follow an action that is already correct. Put emotion in its proper seat and your behavior will fall into its proper track. Silence may make you feel awkward, but silence does not mean you are irresponsible. Silence means you are guarding the door. Rumors may make you restless, but rumors have no right to move your hand if your rules still stand. You may feel regret for one moment, but regret is not a reason to abandon the journey. Be still to see, be clear to act, be steady to go. Do not make promises to your emotions. Make promises to your principles so you do not trap yourself in vague words with yourself. Do not excuse yourself with "everyone does this." Answer plainly, "I choose differently," and take responsibility for that choice. Do not use luck as a wall. Use your written words as pillars for every decision. When your response shifts from blaming to owning, You shift from being dragged to leading your own pace. Look at the goal, remember the principles, hold the position. Slow down, choose well, move on. This cadence does not make you immobile. It makes you choose the right move and cut the wasted ones. You may advance less on a noisy day, but you advance farther on the long path. That is the nature of conscious responsibility. There will be moments when you ask, why must I work this hard? Because hard work does not deliver instant praise. There will be moments when you want to let go just to feel lighter, because holding to principle feels rigid in a sensitive hour. There will be moments when you crave permission, but if that permission comes from fear, it is not worth much. Hold for one beat. Breathe once. Keep one promise. You win by letting rules answer for you when your hand wants to click. You win by letting the plan speak louder than the noise when your inner story starts to race. You win by letting identity lead the way instead of mood, because identity holds steady while mood changes constantly. Reasonable results find the person who holds a clear role with themselves. You may ask, is doing nothing a form of hiding? And the answer is, it depends on the motive. If the motive is to protect the goal according to the rules you wrote, then doing nothing is a highly responsible action, not avoidance. If the motive is fear wanting to escape the noise, then doing nothing hands responsibility to luck, and you need to call it by its true name. Name the motive clearly, name the role clearly, name the responsibility clearly. Each day, reaffirm your status as the decision maker with a plain sentence without granting exceptions to impulsiveness. You must put the place of principles ahead of every short-term swing, including the swings inside your own head. You win by making each small decision consistent with the big plan, leaving no gap where the habit of excuse can slip in. Inner consistency builds outer durability. Do not blame the screen. Admit that the clicking hand is yours and the signature is yours. Do not apologize to the market. Apologize to yourself if you break what you promised, and learn how to keep it next time. Do not hide in the crowd. Stand apart with your principles even when the crowd tells a different story. That is the price of freedom in decisions and the foundation of self-respect. Look at the goal. Remember the principles. Hold the position. Slow down. Choose well. Move on. Every other word is noise if you have seen the long road and chosen the destination. When the noise fades, you will know why today you need to stay put. Do you want to let emotions decide and pay with a broken compounding chain? Do you want to take responsibility and answer with behavior, not with clever reasons? Do you want the calm of an owner instead of the suspense of someone being pulled? Control lives with you, and when you sign for that role, you also choose the kind of result you will receive. When principles lead emotions quiet, and when emotions quiet, your footsteps become more even and go farther. Steady and deep, less but sure, slow but winning. From here, you do not ask, what can I do today to feel less worried? You ask, which principle will I keep today to honor the goal? You do not ask who is right or wrong in the noise. You ask, what do my rules say in the quiet? You do not ask, when will conditions be favorable? You ask, am I still the decision maker, or have I delegated to my emotions? Answer plainly, act cleanly, hold fast. Right now, what you need is an overview framework, so principles have a place to stand, and responsibility has a place to shelter when waves rise. This framework is not for rigidity. It is for a solid base you can lean on whenever you must see through the noise and choose the correct move. Do not pray for luck. Do not pray for ease, pray for what is right. Now set an overview framework to understand how staying put operates, where your goals, principles, and criteria live on one page that you can rely on when it matters most. Chapter 4, the Stay the Course Framework, a structure for staying put. When noise rushes in and your mind wants to click now, what holds you is not some abstract grid. It is a clear framework. On paper, there are goals, principles, and criteria. They are the footholds that keep you steady when the screen keeps changing colors. Write it down to lean on. Be clear so you can hold on. Speak less so you can act. If you want to stay put, you need a framework simple enough to follow under stress and sturdy enough to stop a hasty hand. A framework does not make you rigid. A framework makes you consistent between the outside volatility and the inside noise. No exaggeration, no fuss, no departure from principles. If you move without a framework, every rumor sounds like a call to action, and every red tick becomes a reason to leave your post. If you have a framework but do not write it down, it will dissolve when emotions rise, because memory cannot compete with fear that is right in front of you. No foothold, no order, no self. Each day hold to the framework, not to rumors, because rumors do not pay you on the long road. You must separate long-term data from short-term noise so you do not mistake a small jolt for a fundamental change. You win by checking against the framework, not against your feelings, so your behavior stands with evidence, not with mood. When these three lines become reflex, you rush less and your results bend less. Has your framework been written down, or is it still in your head waiting for some vague quiet day? Can your principles be measured by behavior, or are they only nice phrases when everything is easy? Are your criteria simple enough to use when you're under stress, or do they require long analysis before you can apply them? On one page, set 3 columns so your own eyes can confirm you're on course even when your heart wants to turn for relief. Goals to point the way, principles to block mistakes, criteria to judge disputes between fear and truth. One page is enough. One structure is enough. One will is enough. Do not live by volatility. Live by principles so you do not turn every wave into a reason to change the ship. Do not try to control the market. Control your response so you do not warp results with your own actions. Do not wish for silence. Accept noise as normal and let the framework do the rest. Transformation begins when you place the framework above emotion and let emotion follow the framework. Clear goals, lean principles, transparent criteria, less noise, fewer reversals, fewer errors. These 2 sets of 3 lines build a simple, strong fence that keeps you from slipping off the path you chose when the waves rise. When the fence stands firm with plain words and steady will, your behavior depends less on the mood of the day. There will be times you are tired. There will be times you are bored. There will be times no one applauds. The framework exists precisely to carry you through those 3 moments without trading away your goals just to feel less discomfort now. The framework keeps the cadence. The framework keeps the line. The framework keeps you. You win by giving the framework priority over emotion when the 2 collide. You win by letting principles extinguish the noise the moment it knocks without waiting for one more pleasing excuse. You win by treating criteria as an independent referee, not as a helper that rubber stamps what you already want to do. Live this way and the framework is no longer paperwork. It becomes the foundation of your investing character. Does your framework contain a real goal that can be measured by your promises to yourself? Does your framework contain a small, sharp set of principles you can lean on when your hands shake? Does your framework contain criteria that draw a clear line between noise and true signal? You will not add busy details because the framework exists to simplify decisions in noise, not to complicate them in calm. You will not turn the framework into a grab bag checklist because a long list becomes a convenient excuse to violate it. Tight and clear, lean and precise, enough to use. Do not borrow emotion to edit the framework. Borrow the framework to steer emotion back to its proper place. Do not wait for good conditions to use the framework. Use the framework to endure the conditions that are not good. Do not wait for good news to soothe the mind. Let the criteria steady your hand. The framework is the gatekeeper, not a petitioner. Look at the goal, remember the principles, hold the position. Measure against the noise. Measure against the criteria. Measure against yourself. When these 3 comparisons become habit, you rely less on feeling and more on confirmation before making any decision. That is how the framework filters out unnecessary clicks on your behalf. Do you dare ask plainly, is my framework clear enough that another person would also know what I will do in the middle of noise? Do you dare say plainly, if I change my mind without criteria, that is not a decision that is yielding the seat to emotion? Do you dare admit I need a framework because I am human, and humans forget their own words at the very moment they need those words most? When noise rises, the framework does not promise instant comfort. The framework promises a decision that does not betray the goal. That is the kind of comfort that lasts because it anchors to what you truly pursue, not to the color of a few candles. Enduring calm, enduring behavior, enduring results. Each day, open the framework again to remind your brain that the noise has no authority to sign decisions for you. You must honor the order of goal-first principles, second criteria to close, so words lead the way while emotion stands aside. You win by choosing one small decision that fits the framework over 10 quick decisions that fit your mood. This cadence is simple, and it saves you from countless late regrets. The framework does not tell you what to do today in the sense of tactics. The framework tells you how to do it right in the sense of consistency. The framework does not talk about timing. The framework talks about standards because timing is guesswork, while standards are identity. Standards stand. Emotions sit. Decisions move. Do not turn the framework into an excuse to delay. Turn the framework into the reason to act when evidence is sufficient. Do not treat the framework as a rigid law that binds you. Treat the framework as a guardrail that lets you move faster on the curves. Do not worship vague flexibility. Respect flexibility that has criteria. That is the balance of someone who stays put in order to win. Clear goals, lean principles, transparent criteria. Less noise, fewer reversals, fewer errors. These tricolons are not slogans. They describe how things work when the framework removes your internal arguments for you. When the arguments fade, the energy for what matters increases. You may feel weary when silence stretches on, but silence is the ideal environment for the framework to do its work. You may feel bored when there is nothing to tell, but the framework was not born to tell stories. It was born to keep order. A little weary, a little bored, a great deal more durable. You win by letting every choice pass through the gate of criteria before it enters your life. You win by giving principles priority even when you do not like it, because liking or disliking does not change the truth. You win by holding a position that fits the written goal, not the pulse in one afternoon. Do this long enough and you own a good inertia that pulls you in the right direction. Does your framework include a review checkpoint that answers the right questions instead of satisfying the urge to do something on a noisy day? That checkpoint must serve the long-term goal, not the short-term fear. That is the essence of responsible review. Ask to see clearly, ask to have enough, ask to be at peace. Do not use the checkpoint to replace the framework. Use the checkpoint to test how well the framework is working. Do not hunt for reasons to open exceptions. Hunt for evidence to close every gap where the habit of rationalizing might slip in. Do not treat review day as judgment day. Treat review as maintenance for the framework that helps you go far. Review for durability, not for fear. Each day, return to the first line on the framework page and ask, am I still following this line, or have I drifted to the shoulder? You must be ready to cross out a nice-sounding reason if it does not pass the criteria you set. You win by repeating a simple foundation until it is almost boring, because that simple foundation becomes your compounding edge. Over the long road, simplicity beats complexity when it is kept long enough. Do you dare let the framework be the first voice when emotion wants to answer first? Do you dare let the framework say not yet when your mood demands now? Do you dare let the framework say enough when your greed demands more? The framework is where you lean when the big waves hit, because big waves always arrive unannounced and louder than your memory. With a framework, staying put is not luck. It is a consistent choice repeated long enough to become identity. Stand within the framework. Stand within the truth. Stand within the results. From this overview framework, you will move into 3 concrete methods for running it in daily life without trading away the core simplicity of the framework. Chapter 5, Method 1. Draw the decision boundaries before the noise. You cannot write a good decision while your heart is racing and the screen keeps changing colors. You must write it beforehand. A boundary is a sentence you sign when your mind is clear to use, at the very moment your hand wants to click out of fear. Write it first, set it clearly, use it correctly. Good decisions are prepared before stress shows up because when noise rises, reason usually arrives 1 beat after emotion. You lose on that beat if you do not have a boundary to stop your hand. You win when the boundary forces you to reread the truth before you act. Stop the hasty hand. Keep the chain. Protect yourself. If you leave everything open, emotion will slip into the gap and turn into an action you never intended to take. If you wait to think until tension is high, the noise will write you a nice-sounding excuse to break the plan you already have. Vagueness is expensive. Clarity delayed is more expensive. The more you rush, the more you lose. Each day, restate your boundaries in words so your brain recognizes the red lines that must not be crossed for any emotional reason. You must separate true signals from noise with a few simple, sharp criteria so you do not confuse a small jolt with a real change in substance. You win by following the boundary even when you do not like it, because liking or not liking does not change the truth inside the framework you wrote. When these 3 lines become reflex, you hesitate less and you make fewer mistakes at the same level of noise. What are your entry boundaries and your do not act boundaries? And have you written them as sentences of 12 to 15 words that are easy to read? Do you have a sentence that can stop your hand for 10 seconds when noise surges? Or do you still believe you will be clear in the heat of the moment? Do you have a way to confirm a real signal instead of trusting a feeling right when you are tired? Begin with 3 core boundaries placed on a single page where you can see them whenever you want to click because you are worried. The action boundary says when you may act. The do not act boundary says when you absolutely do not. The stop boundary says when you must stop immediately. 1 page is enough. 1 signature is enough. 1 anchor is enough. Do not be vague. Be clear so there is no more. It depends precisely when the situation is the very reason you are most likely to break principle. Do not be flexible by mood. Be consistent by rule so mood is reduced to background noise at the edge of the decision. Do not explain at length. Make a short comparison to the boundary so justifications have no room to live. The clearer you are, the less you need to be strong, because the system does the hardest work of the moment for you. Write first, check quickly, act cleanly. Specific enough, short enough, usable enough. That is the right structure for boundaries, so you do not have to think extra thoughts when noise rises and time is tight. You simply compare and do. No adding, no subtracting, no compromise. There will be times you are tired. There will be times you are bored. There will be times no one applauds. But a good boundary is the gatekeeper when you are at your weakest, so you do not sign decisions that you will not respect tomorrow. Less worry carried, fewer words needed, less price paid. You win by drafting action boundaries in the form of when and only when to avoid legalizing moves with risky maybe language. You win by drafting do not act boundaries in the form of never for the maneuvers that have proven to erode the compounding chain. You win by drafting stop boundaries in the form of stop immediately when you find clear evidence that the original reason is wrong. Live this way and your hand grows lighter because you no longer need to wrestle fear in every small decision. Would you like a few example sentences that are short enough and clear enough to use right in the middle of noise? Would you like to know what to write so you can stop your hand without anyone reminding you? Are you ready to put pen to paper and end the habit of, I will write it tomorrow? Action boundary, act only when the original reason still holds and long-term criteria remain intact after short-term volatility. Action boundary, act only when independent evidence confirms the same case not based on rumor or hot speculation. Action boundary act only when the decision does not break the written principles on allocation and tolerable risk. Short enough to read, clear enough to do, sharp enough to stop. Do not act boundary. Do not open any new maneuver when mood is triggered by rumor, arguments, or the feeling of missing out. Do not act boundary. Do not change position just because candle colors shift in a short stretch when the original reason has not changed. Do not act boundary. Do not use any leverage or risk-amplifying tool without long-term evidence supporting the decision. Forbidden means forbidden. No special exceptions. No lowering of standards. Stop boundary. Stop immediately when the original reason is found to be wrong, even if emotion wants to justify a delay. Stop boundary. Stop all new maneuvers until you have finished checking against the written long-term criteria. Stop boundary. Stop the internal argument and reread the framework from the previous chapter to restore order. Stop on time. Stop for clarity. Stop to regain composure. You can add a short stop command like a passphrase for your brain when noise is winning. Lower the hand, check the framework. Do not click when there is only emotion is the kind of sentence you need to hear in a hot moment. Write it down. Place it in front of you. Read it out loud. Do not turn boundaries into an excuse for endless hesitation. Use them to decide quickly when criteria are met. Do not leave it depends for emotion to decide. Force every decision through the gate of the words you wrote. Do not make the boundaries so long that you cannot read them in one breath. Good boundaries free you from prolonged dithering, and less dithering means fewer errors. Write first. Check quickly. Act cleanly. Specific enough, short enough, usable enough. Let me repeat the two tricolons so you remember that the function of boundaries is not to decorate a page, but to rescue you at the exact moment you need it. That page is real work, not a ceremonial formality. There will be moments when the boundary feels hard because hard means something is being blocked, and emotion does not like being blocked. There will be moments when you want an exception because exceptions are always wrapped in stories that sound reasonable. There will be moments when you wonder whether you are being too strict, but strict with the boundary is gentle with the future, while a soft hand in the heat becomes heavy later on. Tolerate a little stiffness. Avoid a lot of breakage. Trade easy for durable. You win by keeping the wording exactly as written when you want to edit it to fit a momentary desire. You win by reading the stop boundary out loud before you read the chart, so the brain assigns priority correctly during noise. You win by viewing not breaking the boundary as a victory, not as a missed opportunity. This mindset turns the boundary into an ally instead of an enemy of your feelings. Do you have a system that can tell true signal from noise in 1 minute? Do you have 3 self-check questions such that any no means the hand must stop? Do you have a small card that reminds you of the identity you want to embody before you act? Here are 3 suggested self-check questions, ordinary enough to use right now without anyone's permission. Has the original reason truly changed? Or am I just tired and want to change to feel less tired? Is long-term data speaking, or are short-term colors simply making noise? 1 week from now, will I still respect this decision, or will I see it as a moment of weakness, short yet direct? Everyday yet sharp, effective yet lean. Do not use the questions to legalize a desire. Use the questions to remove any desire that lacks evidence. Do not ask for show. Write down your answers so you can read them later when you are calmer. Do not forget to ask when things are hot. Ask before you touch any button. Questions become a filter. The filter becomes a habit. The habit becomes results. Look at the goal. Remember the principles. Hold the position. Compare to the boundary. Confirm the signal. Then act. When this sequence is repeated, you almost eliminate decisions born from the urge to do something just to feel less anxious. You move from blind reflex to orderly response. You will sag when someone tells you about an opportunity you missed, and you will want to loosen the boundary for flexibility. You will feel discouraged when a correct decision gets teased by candle colors, and you will want to bend the boundary for comfort. You will feel restless when there is nothing to tell, and you will want to act just to have a story. Precisely then, the boundary is the calm shield you forged in quiet hours. It saves you this time. It saves the chain next time. It protects your long-term identity. You win by treating every time you keep a boundary as an invisible credit added to your personal account of discipline. You win by recording one line kept the boundary when noise rose as your way to confirm you are on course. You win by respecting the times you do not act, because not doing the wrong thing is a form of doing the right thing that pays durable returns. When discipline earns interest, results have a foundation. You will keep asking, do I need more boundaries or do I simply need to keep the ones I have? You will answer yourself, fewer and clearer is strong many and messy is weak. You will choose, keep a small set of sharp boundaries and keep them to the end. That is how the durable outlasts the fast. Do not try to win with feelings. Win with criteria so you do not fall into the game of fear and greed. Do not pace boundaries for show. Use boundaries to block at the right time and lock on to the right thing. Do not seek perfection. Seek consistency so you fix small errors before they become big ones. Everything is in your hands because the boundaries are your decision, not a permission you need from anyone. Write first, check quickly, act cleanly, specific enough, short enough, usable enough. Let me say it once more so you remember, this is not a slogan. It is a day-to-day process for noisy periods. One correct page can save you from a great many late regrets. Do you want to become the person who always knows what to do when noise arrives, or the person who gets confused and does something just to be less confused? Do you want outcomes that come from your own words, or do you want to keep giving the power to the color of candles in a single afternoon? Do you dare name one boundary you will keep from today on? Good boundaries reduce dithering, and less dithering means fewer errors. That is the quiet addition earned by disciplined people. When the hand stops at the right place, the mind clears, and when the mind clears, the long road becomes far easier to see. Clear to choose, clear to act, durable to win. Once the boundaries are clear and the words stand upright, you need a daily ritual that makes staying put easier and spares you from remembering too much in a hot moment. Chapter 6, Method 2, the Stay Put Ritual on News-Heavy Days. News-heavy days do not wait for you to calm down before they arrive, so you need a ritual simple enough to keep you steady. You open the screen and run a few fixed steps as if flipping a mute switch in your head so your hand does not drift with rising emotion. Open gently, breathe slowly, hold the framework. A simple ritual keeps you from being dragged around by noise because the ritual turns the right thing into a familiar move instead of an exhausting willpower battle. When the familiar move goes first, noise rarely gets the chance to jump into the driver's seat and steer behavior by passing moods. Less dithering, fewer missed beats, fewer mistakes. If you have no ritual, you will open the screen and be pulled through 10 streams of headlines and 5 unnamed feelings. If you have a ritual but do not do it consistently, you will fall into the loop of, today is an exception, and tomorrow you will pay with a broken chain. Small slip, deeper slip, long slip. Each day reduce triggers so your mind does not burn early and your hand does not look for actions just to ease worry. You must prioritize real work over chasing news because headlines do not feed results if you read them only to vent tension. You win by following the ritual before you look at numbers, so the numbers do not write you a hasty excuse. When these 3 lines become reflex, calm is no longer luck. It is a natural outcome. What is your biggest trigger? One app, one channel, or one group that loves hot takes? How much can you remove today if you must choose between durable results and the feeling of constant updates? Is your opening ritual short enough to do daily, or have you turned it into a speech that is hard to apply under stress? You open the screen and perform 3 fixed moves as simple as flipping a switch so your brain knows this is work mode, not emotion mode. You place the phone an arm's length away, open the goals document, Then reread the written framework so eyes and hands face the same direction. Avoid the noise, read the framework, then look. You sweep your watch list once using the set criteria, add nothing, remove nothing, and write one short line in your document to close any arguments in your head. You close extra news tabs, keep one verified source only, and open it after you finish the opening ritual. Work clean, look straight, lock it in. Lock. Do not react blindly. Respond on purpose using the criteria written in the framework so you do not become a pendulum to candle colors. Do not change your schedule because of fear. Keep the ritual because of principle, so one noisy day does not steal the decision from your hands. Do not jump because someone calls. Cross-check with the original reason before you do anything extra. The ritual does not chain you. The ritual protects you from your own short-term impulses. Less viewing, less worry, fewer errors. See the goal, see the data, see the long road. These two tricolons are both fence and compass, keeping you attached to structure instead of feelings. When structure stands, emotion quiets and decisions wobble less. There will be times you are tired. There will be times you are bored. There will be times no one applauds. The ritual exists precisely for those moments like rails that keep the wheel straight when side winds push the steering offline. A bit heavier, a bit cleaner, much more consistent. You win by setting a fixed 3-step opening ritual and doing it before you look at any numbers. You win by cleaning the digital desk, leaving only the goals document, the Chapter 4 framework, and one long-term data source. You win by closing junk news windows the moment you spot them, treating that as a professional reflex, not politeness to noise. When the ritual repeats, you no longer need to strain every morning to find calm. Is your biggest trigger notifications or the habit of tapping when your hands are idle? Do you have a self-check sentence to stop yourself when you want to break the ritual? Or do you still believe I will only peek for a second? Do you dare cut a favorite channel if it pulls you out of the framework 5 times in 1 week? Write your opening command one sentence that puts the brain in serious mode without sounding stiff. Prioritize the goal. Look at numbers after the framework. Write your closing command one sentence that ends the opening loop and keeps the mind from circling cross-check complete. The rest is quiet work. One sentence is enough. One beat is enough. One intention is enough. Do not design a ritual so long you end up hating it. Design it short enough that you can do it every day. Do not choose a hard ritual to look professional. Choose an easy ritual so you look consistent over the long haul. Do not change the ritual by mood. Adjust it only when there is evidence that a step is adding noise instead of helping you. A good ritual is like a compact raincoat, easy to put on, fits just right, and used at the right moment. Less viewing, less worry, fewer errors. See the goal, see the data, see the long road. Pin these 2 rhythms near your screen so whenever you feel like running, something pulls you back to shore. You need anchor words, not extra bursts of short-term motivation. There will be days when news spreads thick. There will be days with many voices calling. There will be days when your hand wants to click just to feel less discomfort. Read the opening command, do the 3 steps, and only then look at the numbers. You will see the wave pass faster than you expected. Hold firm for 1 beat. Take 1 correct step. Get through 1 day. You win by setting in the order framework first numbers, second actions last, so noise cannot slip in between steps. You win by funneling new questions into OneNote for later review and meeting them at the review checkpoint instead of handling them in hot emotion. You win by letting your body join the ritual like 3 slow breaths and a straightened back before your fingers touch the keyboard. When body and words agree, the hand rarely betrays what is right. Do you need more steps or fewer? The right answer is usually fewer so you can keep doing them. Can your ritual take 5 minutes or 50? The right answer is short enough that you have no excuse to skip it. Others can remind you, but the final gatekeeper is you, no one else. The ritual is a set of rails to keep the wheels from derailing, not chains that remove flexibility when real evidence must be handled. The ritual is a door filter that keeps trash from flying into your head, leaving room for the long-term data that deserves reading and thought. Rails guard the wheels, filters guard the mind, you guard the decision. Each day, review your trigger list and delete one needless item if it makes your mind louder. You must give priority to the framework and real work over any urge to tell stories in the group or scroll for relief. You win by hitting close within 2 beats when you spot a junk window, and by writing one line, closed it to confirm your role as gatekeeper. The ritual is real work, not ceremony. Do not be gentle with sources that create noise. Be gentle with the goal that needs room to grow. Do not wait for free time to do the ritual. Do the ritual to create free time for important work. Do not close your eyes and hope to survive a noisy day. Open your eyes selectively to save strength for the long road. That is how you preserve energy and the quality of your behavior. Less viewing, less worry, fewer errors. See the goal, see the data, see the long road. Repeat the 2 tricolons to close the loop because a ritual does not need glitter. It only needs repetition to create an edge. You are building the good inertia of someone who stays put to win. What is your biggest trigger right now, and can you remove it in a single breath? Does your opening ritual have a clear opening command and 3 tight steps? Do you have a self-check to stop yourself when you want to break the ritual, like a question that freezes the hand? A ritual is a rail, and with rails in place, you derail far less even when winter winds shove hard. You will feel calmer, not because the market is kinder, but because you now have a structure that anchors you to what is right. Strong inside, lean outside, consistent over the long run. Next, you need a review checkpoint to collect questions and reinforce the habit of staying put instead of handling everything in a stream of hot emotion. Chapter 7, Method 3, Fixed Review Checkpoints. News-heavy days make your mind want to act immediately, but big decisions need a place and a cadence to be examined seriously. You open the review document on the schedule you set and compare against the goal, not against the noise that just flashed on the screen. Open the page, read the goal, cross-check the framework. Reviewing at fixed checkpoints separates the plan from the noise, because in that space, emotions have no right to interrupt the decision process. You avoid rewriting the plan in a hot moment, and you keep your energy for what matters instead of arguing with your moods. Less churn, less drift, less regret. If you check constantly, you turn yourself into a pendulum, and a pendulum cannot go far even though it is always moving. If you change cadence with volatility, you unintentionally move the goal toward feeling, then blame the market when you were the one who gave up the decision seat. Noise rises, confidence falls, the chain tears. Each day, remember that big decisions belong to the review checkpoint, while ordinary days are for executing what is already clear. You must funnel questions into one place to handle at the right time, instead of letting them invade every hour and wear down your focus. You win by respecting the review cadence you set, because cadence is the rail that carries you through high winds without derailing. When these 3 become reflex, you seek less sensation and gain more orderly results. What questions is your review checkpoint meant to answer, and are those answers driven by your goal or by your emotion? What are the criteria for keep or change, and are they simple enough that one read is enough to act? Who signs the decision, and does that signature still stand after the feeling fades? In practice, you need a tight procedure for each checkpoint, clear enough to run, like buckling a seatbelt before the car moves. You open the review page, reread the goal, compare against the principles, and then let the criteria have the final word, not the story in your head. Prepare, cross-check, record. Do not check constantly. Check on purpose so every touch on the portfolio has a reason that stands on long-term data. Do not change cadence for volatility. Keep cadence for the goal so today's wave does not become tomorrow's structural damage. Do not wait for emotions to calm before you review. Use the review to calm emotions after a correct decision. You are not surrendering. You are orchestrating. Prepare, cross-check, record, Enough evidence, enough reason, enough calm. These two tricolons are a minimalist blueprint for a checkpoint, so you do not add clutter when tension calls for simplicity. Simple to use, clear to apply, durable to follow. There will be days you are tired. There will be times you are bored. There will be moments when no one applauds. The checkpoint exists to carry you through those 3 times like roadside lights that keep you in lane when the rain pours. Do not skip cadence. Do not burn bridges. Do not change the rules. You win by defining the checkpoint's purpose as testing the original reason, not hunting for excuses to edit because of discomfort. You win by giving criteria the priority so when data and mood conflict data has the last word. You win by recording the conclusion in short sentences so tomorrow you still know what you decided and why. When conclusions have a home, decisions have a place to live. Which core questions must your checkpoint answer beyond, am I still on course? Do your keep or change criteria include an evidence threshold, or are you relying on the vague feeling of enough? What will you do when emotion tries to jump in before the checkpoint? And what stop command will keep you from breaking cadence? You open the pending notes section and drop every question collected during the week into one place so your mind is not littered with scraps of worry. You return at the checkpoint and process them with the same framework, so every question passes through the door of criteria before it becomes an action. Gather the worries. Process cleanly. Close the file. Do not turn the checkpoint into a day for venting feelings. Turn it into a day for maintaining your evidence and principle system. Do not use the review to legalize desire. Use the review to remove desires that lack evidence. Do not rush the conclusion because you are impatient. Keep the cadence slow enough for the original reason to speak clearly. Process beats mood. That is the discipline of ownership. Prepare, cross-check, record. Enough evidence, enough reason, enough calm. Repeat to anchor because a tight cadence will save you when all you want is to end quickly for relief. Fast hands are not as good as correct hands. Correct hands are not as good as correct timing. Correct timing means following the cadence. There will be days of pouring bad news. There will be days with many voices in your head. There will be days you want to step off cadence just to breathe. When you keep the checkpoint, you teach your brain that it is not time yet, and that command protects your chain. One clear command, one kept cadence, one rough patch passed. You win by pasting an opening review command at the top of the page, such as goal first principles, next criteria decide. You win by ending with one of 3 short labels, keep change or insufficient evidence, so the decision does not float in a gray zone. You win by attaching a one-line reason, so next time you have a clear history rather than a hazy, I think. When reasons have words, memory does not betray you. Is your checkpoint serving the goal or serving the mood? Are your criteria simple enough to apply within 10 breaths, or do they require a long speech every time stress rises? Who signs the decision, you or a loud storyteller from the crowd? A fixed review cadence soothes confusion because it decides for you when to think about big things and when to just do small things. With cadence comes order, and with order come fewer emotion-driven errors. That is a simple but durable edge on the long road. Fewer arguments, more execution, deeper results. You do not need another complex list. You need a stable orbit where important questions return to the right place. You do not need to chase the feeling of calm. You need a review framework that works well enough that calm becomes an outcome, not the target. Less tangled, less rushed, less off course. Do not check constantly. Check on purpose so your brain does not burn out switching scenes all day. Do not change cadence for volatility. Keep cadence for the goal, so a short jolt does not become a wrong turn. Do not ignore feedback. Place feedback in the right place at the right time under the right criteria. When behavior has a home, emotion has a boundary. Prepare, cross-check, record. Enough evidence, enough reason, enough calm. Repeat these two lines until they become an operating habit, not a side note. Operating habit creates operating results. Operating results feed confidence. Firm confidence helps you stay put. Do you want emotions to decide outside the checkpoint or criteria to conclude inside the checkpoint? Do you want to be the person who changes schedule for volatility or the person who keeps cadence? So volatility must pass through the door of evidence. Do you want the compounding chain protected, or do you want a new cliffhanger every week? Once you have a checkpoint, noisy days lose power because the voice not yet is strong enough to stop a hasty click. You also find that adjustments become more reasonable because they carry a calm signature and clear evidence. Less heat, less drift, fewer errors. A checkpoint is not a set of handcuffs that bind you to rigidity. A checkpoint is a guardrail that lets you move faster on the curves without falling. You own your cadence, and when you own cadence, you own how much noise enters decisions in both life and portfolio. Cadence is power. Cadence is order. Cadence is an edge. After the three methods, you now have boundaries, a ritual, and a checkpoint. Now it is time to talk about maintaining them when reality gets rough so you do not lose what you have built since the start of the journey. Chapter 8. Maintenance getting through red days without self-sabotage. Red covers the market screen like a heavy blanket, and the noise in your head invites you to do something right now. You still run the same 2 or 3 steps as usual because what holds you is not luck. It is the habit you have trained every day. Do not rush. Do not panic. Do not self-sabotage. Maintenance means keeping what works on an unfriendly day, like holding the wheel straight when crosswinds hit the road. You do not add new tricks. You simply repeat the moves you promised yourself so the curve does not snap because of one soft minute. Repeat correctly, keep the cadence, move forward. If you let a red day define who you are, you will trade identity for a moment of relief and pay a long price later. If you bend the framework just to feel less worried, you will tear your own compounding chain and call it flexibility when in truth it is lost discipline, order lost, momentum lost, yourself lost. Each day run one full pass according to the written framework, no exceptions for mood. You must restate the reason for staying put in one short sentence so your brain remembers the goal before your hand touches any button. You win by patiently getting through a bad day because getting through once makes the next one much easier. When these 3 become reflex, you pass a red day like a familiar curve on a road you know well. Do you have a plan for bad days? Or do you still say, I will see and let emotion write the decision for you? What behavior will you use to anchor yourself if bad headlines pile up a slow breath or a stop command? Do you have a signal that tells you that you are slipping out of the framework like a racing pulse or a hand that wants to click for no reason so you can name it and stop? You open the framework page, read one line of the goal, scan the boundaries, and run the opening ritual exactly as always. You write one sentence, cross-check complete. The rest is quiet work and let the noise pass like a truck rolling by. Read the framework. Write one short line. Lock the hand. Do not panic at noise. Slow down and see the structure that keeps you upright in the wind. Do not break the framework when it is hard. Hold to the framework to get through the hard part because the framework was built for red days, not green days. Do not change the plan to find calm. Let the plan create calm after you have done your part. That is how you protect the compounding chain with behavior, not promises. Repeat correctly, keep the cadence, move forward. Say less, do more, long enough. These 2 rhythms sum up the entire exam of a red day. No fancy touches, just do again what you promised yourself. Win by consistency. Consistency because it is simple. Simple because it has been trained. There will be times you are tired. There will be times you are bored. There will be times no one applauds. In those very moments, you prove you belong to the group that can go the distance by not breaking what is working. Firm for one beat, durable for one stretch, through one day. You win by placing the portfolio into the established cross-check and stepping away on time, not sitting and watching colors to punish yourself. You win by keeping the ritual framework first numbers, second actions last because the correct order saves you from sudden swerves. You win by writing one line kept the boundary to respect yourself so the silence of a red day does not make you doubt what is right. Then calm is no longer an effort. It is the outcome of a structure that has become part of you. Do you have a stop command for the moment your mind wants to click, such as lower the hand, read the framework, do not click from fear? Do you have an internal warning sign like a hot feeling in your chest or a habit of endless scrolling to remind you slipping out of the framework? Do you have a friend on paper, a clear page you can read when you do not trust yourself? You do not have to prove anything to anyone on a red day. You only need to prove to yourself that you are not walking against what you committed to. You do not need to be great at prediction. You need to be great at keeping, because long-term rewards are not awarded to people who keep changing seats when the wind rises. Keep the position. Keep the principles. Keep the identity. Do not jump into arguments. Step back and shut the trigger sources that make your head loud and your hands hot. Do not add new conditions. Return to the 3 self-check questions. The original reason still holds, the long-term data still supports, and I will respect this decision after a few days. Do not label it bad luck. Label it maintenance test so your brain picks the correct toolkit. Change the words to change the behavior. Behavior changes results, but the framework stays. Repeat correctly, keep the cadence, move forward, say less, do more, long enough. Repeat to anchor, because red days are very good at draining your memory of what is right and pushing you into storytelling. Tight rhythm beats noise. Clear intent beats fear. The chain beats the tick. You will want to tell a long story to justify breaking the framework, because breaking the framework usually requires a good-sounding reason. You will want to ask for a small exception, because small exceptions look harmless when you are confused. You will want to adjust for flexibility when in fact you are following mood. Pause for one breath. Read one line. Pass one wave. You win by letting the body join maintenance like 3 slow breaths and sitting upright before you look at numbers. You win by moving the phone or closing the noisy windows so your hand has nothing to grab when your mind wobbles. You win by allowing silence, because silence is the environment where the plan can work without being cut off by excuses. Silence is not weakness. Silence is discipline. Do you have a plan for bad days, or do you still let them carry you off like dry leaves through an open window? What action will you use to anchor yourself if everyone around you gets loud? And will you dare to shut off noisy channels right then? What will you name to stop a boundary, a ritual, or a checkpoint so the chain does not tear? Do not use emotion as a compass. Use criteria as a compass so you do not spin in the fog. Do not run to ease impatience. Stand to protect the chain, because the chain is what earns over the long run. Do not hunt for something new on a red day. Pick up the right thing that fell because of the noise. Real grit is loyalty to what is right when no one claps. See the goal, see the principles, see the criteria, read the boundaries, read the ritual, read the checkpoint. You reset your digital desk with these 2 lines so every move passes through a doorway guarded by words. Guard with words, close with criteria, keep with habit. There will be days when the noise is so loud that you feel you must act now or you will be left behind. There will be days when a rumor makes your heart vibrate like a string, and the only thing you need to do is refuse to play to that vibration. There will be days when you are alone in the correct decision because the crowd prefers stories to discipline. Alone for a moment, steady for a stretch, lighter for a season. You win by marking the times you passed a red day without breaking, treating them as invisible rewards compounding in your identity account. You win by treating not doing the wrong thing as a form of doing the right thing with long-term yield so your brain does not demand to break just to feel something. You win by holding to a few sharp words, not long, hollow speeches, so you do not have to sweep up after the noise. Move less on a noisy day, move farther on the long road? Do you dare look straight and say, I want to break because I am afraid, instead of building a warm story? Do you dare shut channels and return to the ritual even when your whole body wants to run? Do you dare call the real failure, I broke the chain, not the market was hard? Passing a red day is an identity test because identity decides behavior when the plan is challenged. Get through once and the next time is easier because your brain records that you can survive without breaking the framework or bending the boundaries. Save today, save the chain, save yourself. When maintenance is steady, you need one more layer of perspective so motivation lasts and every quiet day becomes one step closer to the story you want to write about yourself at the end of the journey. Chapter 9, Perspective, Seeing the Reward of Compounding. When the present is noisy and your mind wants to run from your position, you need a clear picture of the future to pull yourself back. You imagine the outcome of staying put long enough and place it beside the jagged curve created by jumping in and out. Then you look straight at the difference. Look long, look clearly, look truthfully. Seeing the future of compounding helps you keep going when the present is noisy, because a picture bright enough will beat the noise that tries to pull you off course. You do not need a flashy story. You need an honest image of who you will become if you choose steadiness today. Less vagueness, less haste, less chasing feelings. Without perspective, every small tremor becomes a big reason to change course, and constant course changes erase the edge of compounding. If you look only at the near term, momentary feelings take the wheel, while long-term results become a floating promise that no one has signed. Axis lost, rhythm lost, your future self lost. Each day, repeat the long-term picture so your brain remembers why you are here even when silence stretches on. You must choose the bigger reward over the momentary feeling, because feelings change by the minute while the reward stays with you for a long time. You win by stacking ordinary days, because ordinary is the material of every extraordinary story. When these three become habit, calm stops being luck and becomes a structure you built. Does the future you want require jumping in and out, or does it simply require you to stay long enough for compounding to work on your behalf? Are you willing to trade a bit of comfort now for a thicker, worthier result down the road? What does your winning image look like, a smooth curve or a chain of scratches from hurried swerves? Picture a day when you look back on the same chart page where ordinary days have lined up into a long, valuable slope. Then picture another version where you tell many cliffhanger stories, but have no curve strong enough to be proud of. One quiet picture, one broken picture, one clear choice. You do not need a miracle, you need consistency. So each day adds a brick to the bridge that connects today to the future you chose. You do not need to be smarter. You need to be more steadfast, because the reward of compounding does not pay the best storyteller. It pays the person who keeps promises. You do not need a sprint. You need an even cadence, so you are not gasping halfway and begging for exceptions after a weak swerve. The difference lives in cadence, not in performance. Calm, persistent, pushing ahead. Less noise, fewer errors, more outcomes. These two tricolons summarize the edge of compounding, where small repeated effort beats the loudest short-term noise. You do not win by luck, you win by habit, you win by time. There will be times you are tired. There will be times you are bored. There will be times no one applauds. Remind yourself that the picture you pursue is not measured by the volume of noise. It is measured by the number of days you did not self-sabotage. Hold for one beat, keep one promise, pass one stretch. You win by giving perspective priority when emotion asks for exceptions, so the long picture blocks your hand from a short click. You win by asking, what does the long picture see, before you ask, what do I see today? Because today is usually louder than the long road. You win by looking at the outcome of a kept chain, not at the applause from a lucky swing. Then the noise shrinks and your footsteps become more even. What story will you tell yourself after a long stretch? The story of someone who stood firm, or the story of someone who chased moods? Will you sign your name to that calm version today? Or will you wait for some vague, perfect day to begin? What will you say about this process after a long time, an emotional play-by-play, or a short ledger of times you stayed put in the right place? Look at the two paths and name the price of each. The broken path gives you many stories. The smooth path gives you many outcomes. Choose the path with more outcomes and accept that it has less drama, because drama is expensive entertainment for an account that values steadiness. Choose outcomes. Drop the noise. Keep the cadence. Do not hunt for a single life-changing move. Accept an ordinary path that delivers an extraordinary result because of compounding. Do not compare yourself to others on green days. Respect your own cadence on red days so you do not break the foundation. Do not hold everything. Keep a few right things and repeat them until they become an edge. Transformation lives in simple things done persistently, not in scattered bursts. Calm, persistent, pushing ahead. Less noise, fewer errors, more outcomes. Repeat to anchor, because when fatigue arrives, the brain forgets that sweet fruit appears after a chosen period of quiet. Silence is not meaningless. Silence is soil. Fruit grows from there. You will want to ask, how long will it take to see? But the right question is, can I keep the chain long enough for it to appear? You will want to ask, is it worth it? But the answer lives in the long curve, not in a short bout of fatigue. You will want to ask, is there a faster way? But faster by jumping in and out is fast to exhaustion and slow to results. Steady for one beat. Steady for 1 week. Steady for one stretch. You win by allowing yourself to see slow and sure as real progress, not as a sign of falling behind. You win by defining victory as not breaking what is right, because not breaking is giving compounding one more day to live. You win by speaking with your future self and hearing that person say, thank you for keeping. Keeping today is a gift to that day. Does the future you want require constant changes to keep your hands busy? Or does it require you to stay long enough for the edge to appear? Do you want to stand among the durable, or stand in the crowd of lively storytellers with thin results? Do you want a quieter long road, or a sequence of tense days that take turns demanding a price? When the picture is clear, the present is quieter because you have a wall in front that sends noise back instead of letting it pass through you. Vision pulls you when motivation sags like a light at the end of the road, reminding you that you are still headed the right way. Keep direction, keep cadence, keep yourself. You do not need a long philosophy. You need one short sentence that describes who you want to become through compounding to read whenever your hand wants to click. You do not need another trick. You need a reason beautiful enough to stay loyal to what is right even when the reward has not arrived. Beautiful because it is true. Beautiful because it is durable. Beautiful because you chose it. Do not make friends with noise. Make friends with a future image detailed enough to help you say not yet to short feelings. Do not make friends with luck. Make friends with time, because time pays those who keep and finds those who flip. Do not chase hot stories. Write your own story in steady lines. You owe yourself a worthy ending, and that ending requires a steady present. See the goal. Remember the principles. Hold the position. See the curve. Remember compounding. Keep your calm. Compare every move to these two lines so you do not let feelings pretend to be a ruler that measures real results. Measure with words. Do not measure with noise. Do not measure with a racing heartbeat. There will be days when someone boasts about a quick hit, and you will feel slow for staying put. There will be days when you want a quick taste of victory so you do not feel ordinary in a loud crowd. There will be days when you forget that compounding pays behind a curtain of quiet, not on the stage. Breathe deep, look long, stand firm. You win by hanging the future picture in your mind low enough to see daily and close enough to guide your hand. You win by using the long reward as the standard, so every short decision must answer, does this serve that picture? You win by speaking less and doing more. Because steady footsteps will tell the story for you later. A good story tells itself. You do not need to shout. Will you name the version of yourself you want to become and drop the habits that do not fit that name? Will you admit that many past tangles came from a missing picture, not from a difficult market? Will you take responsibility for that future by keeping this present instead of asking for a different miracle? When you truly see the reward of compounding, every small sacrifice starts to make sense, and every bout of restlessness starts to shrink. You also understand that your job is to clear the way for time to do its work, not to fight time and exhaust yourself. Fewer arguments, more repetition, long enough to ripen. You do not need to escape the present. You need to place the present inside the right picture so it holds meaning beyond one day's feeling. You do not need to run from the noise. You need to let vision be louder than the noise so noise becomes background. Quiet ground, quiet heart. Even steps. Do not seek applause, seek what is right, because what is right becomes durable, and what is durable becomes beautiful. Do not demand calm, first do what is right first, and calm will follow as the child of principled behavior. Do not dream of fireworks, dream of a season of rich results. Fireworks flare fast and fade fast. A season of results feeds you for a long time. Choose the season. Calm, persistent, pushing ahead. Less noise, fewer errors, more outcomes. These final tricolons are the pillars on which you sign your own story now and later. Sign with behavior. Sign with steadiness. Sign with time. When perspective stands firm inside you, everything that remains is to execute what you have already seen, stacking quiet days until they become quiet years. And then one day you tell a simple story. I stayed put when staying put was required, and compounding did the rest. Lean yet deep, less yet substantial, slow yet winning. From here close by, crystallizing a new identity, the identity of someone who stays put to win, where the right choice becomes reflex rather than exhausting effort. Chapter 10. Synthesis, the identity of someone who stays put to win. Others hurry to click with the noise while you calmly open the framework and cross-check what you signed with yourself. You no longer chase short-term colors. You stand with the words you wrote and let those words lead behavior toward durable results. Open the page. Read the framework. Do the right thing. You do not only act differently, you become someone different, the person who stays put to win, who puts principles first and lets emotions follow. A new identity does not arrive with one sentence. A new identity arrives through 100 small keeps on noisy days, then 1,000 days stitched into durability. Less impulsive, less regret, more confidence. If you do not lock in an identity, every bout of volatility will pull you into switching masts and switching directions when the wind rises. If you do not sign your role as gatekeeper, every nice-sounding reason becomes a passport for your own hasty click. Inner chaos, decision chaos, outcome chaos. Each day, act like the person you want to become, not waiting for favorable conditions to appear strong. You must sign the stay-put decision with real behavior, not with a promise that dissolves in noise. You win by letting results sign on your behalf instead of explanations, because results do not talk much, but they speak correctly. When these 3 lines become reflex, you do not need to strain for calm. You simply live true to the new name. What do you want to be known for? The speed of your mood swings or the consistency that moves through red days? Are you willing to keep your signature on principles when your hand asks for a small, sweet exception? Will you protect the compounding chain as your most valuable asset, even when no one is watching and no one is praising? While others rush, you calmly check against the framework, because you know the framework was built for hard days, not easy days. You look at the goal, compare to the principles, cross-check the criteria, and let the conclusion rest on evidence, not on mood. Order clear, position clear, role clear. Do not chase praise or criticism. Pursue right and wrong, so applause and chatter become background behind you. Do not hunt for miracles. Use principles because principles are the long road miracle when you are steady enough to apply them consistently. Do not ask for luck. Ask for responsibility because responsibility is the one thing you control in the middle of noise. Transformation arrives when you no longer recognize that you once trembled at a small wave. Clear goal, clear principles, clear behavior. Less impulsive, less regret, more confidence. These two lines are the ID card of your new identity, the thing you show whenever the noise asks, "Who are you?" You answer with words. You answer with discipline. You answer with the chain. There will be days you are tired. There will be times you are bored. There will be moments when no one applauds. But the new identity carries you through those 3 moments because you live by it first and calm emotion follows behind. Keep one cadence. Keep one promise. Keep one path. You win by calling yourself the person who stays put to win before you open the screen like a boot-up command for identity. You win by giving the last word to criteria, not to mood, even when mood begs for one more comfortable moment. You win by counting every time you do not break the chain as a deposit into your personal account of confidence. True confidence comes from a history of kept promises, not from a few hot words of encouragement. Who signs today's decision, you or the noise that is calling? What do you want to sign your future outcomes, principles, or luck? Are you ready to become the person who stays put to win, or do you still want to be the weekly cliffhanger storyteller? Others whip the wheel when they hear a new tale. You stay calm because you already have a larger story guiding you. Others need a drum beat to begin. You need only one line to act correctly. Less performing, less distraction, less hopping around. Do not change your tone when asked a hard question. Change your angle to responsibility and remind yourself, I signed the decision. I am not a rumor listener. Do not excuse one moment of weakness. Learn to stop your hand and name the emotion so it does not write the order. Do not inflate a few small wins. Build a durable base so you do not need to boast to feel valuable. The new identity is a long-term contract between you and your future. Clear goal, clear principles, clear behavior, less impulsive, less regret, more confidence. Repeat the 2 tricolons like twin guardrails so every step stays inside the lane, chosen by someone who wants to finish well. Guardrails steady the hands. The framework steadies the mind. Cadence steadies the heart. There will be days good news invites you to run, and you will smile because, running after a feeling breaks cadence. There will be days bad news tries to scare you to stand up, and you will breathe slowly because standing up then is self-sabotage. There will be days the crowd changes tune quickly, and you will still speak the same line you signed with yourself. Volume down, quality up, chain durable. You win by letting results sign on your behalf instead of explanations because explanations can bend while results cannot. You win by living your gatekeeper role, not opening the door for noise until it has passed through the criteria gate. You win by treating the ordinary as a badge of honor because ordinary repeated long enough becomes extraordinary. That is the voice of identity, not a burst of temporary effort. What do you want to be recognized for sudden turns or the steady road that moves through noise? Are you willing to keep your signature on principles even when no one sees and no one praises? Do you dare say, I protect the chain as my most valuable asset and do exactly that on a red day? When identity changes, behavior follows, because behavior is now the footsteps of a new person, not a test of willpower. Staying put is no longer strenuous effort. Staying put is the new normal. It is how you breathe, how you see, how you lower your hands. A new normal, new footsteps, new results. You no longer ask, what should I do to feel less worried, you ask. What should I do to honor the identity I chose? You no longer ask who is right or wrong. In the noise you ask, what do my principles say in the quiet? You no longer ask, when will conditions be favorable, you ask. Am I still inside the framework of someone who stays put, or have I slipped? Ask the right question. Get the right intent. Walk the right path. Do not wait for others to validate you. Validate yourself with repeated behavior when no one is watching. Do not borrow identity from the crowd. Forge identity with your own words and your own discipline. Do not hand the wheel to emotion. Invite emotion to sit in the back and watch the road instead of driving. You respect yourself by respecting your own words. Clear goal, clear principles, clear behavior. Less impulsive, less regret, more confidence. These two bands of words become your visual habit and your operating habit, so whenever you drift, they pull you back. Pull you from noise. Pull you from fear. Pull you from haste. There will be moments when you want to change names because a new name demands more responsibility than the old one. There will be moments when you want your old habits back because old habits feel fast and less lonely. There will be moments when you want to skip one keep because you think you are solid. True solidity does not boast about being solid. True solidity does not seek pointless tests. True solidity keeps. You win by reminding yourself that the edge of time belongs to the person who stays put, and you have chosen that group. You win by letting time do its part while you do yours, which is not breaking things. You win by letting identity lead principles protect and results answer. Then your silence has an echo. Do you want your life story to be a play-by-play of jolts or a short ledger of times you stayed put in the right place? Do you want to stand with those who win by compounding or with those who win by luck and pay back double? Do you want to be remembered for depth of results or for volume of noise? From start to finish, this journey says one thing. The edge of time belongs to the person who stays put, and the time penalty falls on the person who jumps with the noise. You have walked through causes, consequences, responsibility, then built the framework, drew the boundaries, set the ritual installed, the checkpoint trained maintenance and open perspective. Seal it now, sign it now, live it now. When identity stands firm, every road ahead becomes a game of repeating the right things, not a hunt for novelty to soothe restlessness. You do not need new secrets. You need to stand inside the words you already have and let those words become instinct. Right instinct, right behavior, right results. Connect the whole journey with one final reminder. The edge of time always belongs to the person who stays put. And today is the day you confirm you belong to that group by staying put one more time. You have walked the entire journey. You saw the cost of jumping in and out, understood the hit from the best days missed, pulled the axis of responsibility toward yourself, then built the framework, drew the boundaries set, the ritual installed, the checkpoint, practice, maintenance, and open perspective. All of it leads to this moment. You do not just act differently a few times, you become someone different. The person who stays put to win the person who lets time take your side. No improvising, no asking permission from luck, no giving the will to emotion. Do not chase praise or criticism. Pursue right and wrong because noise does not pay interest over the long road, but discipline does. Do not chase tops and bottoms. Hold a reasonable baseline because compounding needs a steadier foothold than a passing feeling. Do not control the market. Control your response because your response is the one part you command with the words you wrote. You are the one who signs. You are the one who keeps. You are the one who is responsible. See the goal. Remember the principles. Hold the position. Prepare. Cross-check. Record. Calm. Persistent. Pushing ahead. These three tricolons are 3 layers of protection, so every decision passes through the door of criteria before it enters your life. Less noise, fewer errors, more outcomes. You do not need heroics to reach the finish. You need enough consistency for time to have the chance to do its work. You do not need others to believe first. You need to believe yourself through a history of keeps when no one was watching. You do not need another trick. You need fewer exceptions because exceptions are shortcuts straight out of the compounding chain. Simple beats complex. Plain beats ornate. Durable beats fast. Each day, act like the person you want to become, not waiting for favorable conditions to look steady. You must sign the choice to stay put with behavior, not with a sentence. You win by letting results sign instead of explanations, because results are not swayed by noise. Identity first. Behavior follows, results arrive. What are you missing to be ready for the long road? An opening command, a one-page framework, or a review checkpoint? Do you dare name the biggest trigger and remove it from your doorway each morning? Do you dare treat not breaking what is right as a win, worthy of recording every day? Ask briefly, act cleanly, keep for long. Do not break the framework because it is hard. Hold the framework to get through the hard, because the framework was made for red days, not green ones. Do not change cadence for volatility. Keep cadence for the goal, because the goal is not responsible for your mood. Do not tell long stories to feel calmer. Stay quiet so the plan can work, because silence is the environment of compounding. Silence makes sense. Discipline earns interest. Time has a voice. Clear goal, clear principles. Clear behavior. Less impulsive. Less regret. More confidence. Carry these two lines like a new identity card held up whenever the noise asks, "Who are you and what will you do?" I do not need to shout. I only need to be right. I only need to be consistent. A short perspective, you look back on a long stretch where ordinary days formed a smooth slope, and you smile because you chose to stay put when staying put was needed. You realize the greatest reward is not only a number, but the peace of knowing you can trust yourself on a noisy day. You tell the next person that you did not win through a flash of brilliance, but through a string of days repeated so correctly that they felt plain. Beautiful because it is true. Beautiful because it is durable. Beautiful because you chose it. Connect the whole journey with one last reminder. The edge of time always belongs to the person who stays put. And today, once again, you confirm you belong to that group by lowering your hand, opening the framework page, and letting time do its work.